Hello, my fellow humans, and welcome back to another Daily Dice. We're going to ask the dice for a message, find out what that is. Today we are getting a message from the stars, okay? I do want to say thank you to those of you that continue to be a supportive part and role on this journey. I'm truly honored to be sharing this time and this space with you. And for anyone new here, welcome. This is that reminder we're all here sharing this human experience. And should these messages happen to resonate with you, it means so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. For those of you that choose to share your story, just don't feel so blessed and honored that you choose to share that here to open up. And with that being said, today we are going to do things a little bit differently. So you're going to see the daily dice are they're changing. So we're all evolving. So the message from the stars. Stars, what message do you have for my fellow humans today? Stars, what message do you have for my fellow humans today? Oh, okay, I guess you're getting 3. So we're going to check these out later. This could be especially true for you if you are Cancer or have Cancer highly aspect in your chart. Okay. So, message from the stars. What is the message you have for my fellow humans today? A message from the stars. What is that for my fellow humans today? What would you like them to know? A message from the stars. What message do you have for my fellow humans? Okay, so we've got Mercury, the 3rd house, and Scorpio energy. So it's interesting because I was feeling like this is like twin flame energy. It does not have to be, but it could be soulmate energy or like soul tribe energy as well, okay? But anytime we get the 3rd house, I do liken that to twin flame energy for some reason. We have also got Mercury here, which is talking about communication. So just feel like here there's like someone that wants to communicate with you. They want to tell you something deeper about how they feel about you, that there's a lot of hidden emotion here, right? There's a lot of secretive emotion here, and they're holding a lot of secrets. They're not really telling anyone here what's going on, and they're very fearful of this communication and what it's going to bring about, because they're still dealing with early childhood learning, what it is that they've been through in their past, what it is that they've gone through, and healing those things and really dredging through the fears of their life. And those fears have been what has held them back from communicating to you how they feel. And I know that there's this energy around a lot of twin flames where they're just like, you know what, screw my twin flame, like I don't care anymore, they've put me through hell and back, like I don't care what they have to say. And it's just this understanding that that's not at all what they intended to do. It was never intentional to do these things to you. It was always because they wanted to come forward, but they didn't know how, and they had their own difficulties and their own journey to contend with, and they couldn't contend with that while love you at the same time when they weren't loving themselves. They wouldn't have had anything to give to you. And so I feel like the message from the stars today is that there is an alignment that's coming, but it's like everybody wants to know when their twin flame is coming. Everybody wants to know when that connection is blooming and when I'll finally have the 3D connection. And what they're saying here is to hold space in the 5D and above, the realms higher, for your twin right now, because it feels like they're really going through a lot, especially with the Scorpio energy. They're really digging up a lot of past issues and going through an egoic death and rebirth. And oftentimes that doesn't happen just one time. It does happen many, many times along the journey. And so the stars are saying here that will bring you into alignment, but alignment might not be what your emotional ego is asking for. And to be open to what can potentially come with that. So let's see what else comes out here. Okay, what further messages do you have? Like I have the 3 of Swords and the Nameless card, or the 13, or what you might know as Death here, Scorpio energy. But seeing that You're getting help from the divine realms when it comes to this difficult relationship, or when it comes to this difficult connection even, or finding your tribe. You're getting help, but there's a lot of transformation that has to go on here. There's a lot of things that have to change, and it's just a process, right? It's a process, and it's not going to happen in the time that we see fit. It's going to happen in the right time when it happens, and sometimes that's really hard to hold on to, especially when we think that, oh, I've been on this journey for 3 years and it's way too long for me. I give up. I don't want to deal with this anymore. I've been on this journey for 10 years or 20 years and nothing seems to be changing. Well, it's not that anything isn't changing. It's just that we have to allow ourselves to experience our own happiness, even if that means walking away from them. And I know this is not the popular opinion. This is not the popular information that goes out there, but we have to stop putting our lives on hold for this ideal connection that everybody wants and desires, for the sheer sake of saying, like, if as long as I wait for them, then things will turn out my way. It's not that you're walking away from the love. You cannot walk away from this love. You cannot walk away from how deep the connection is. But why should you put your life on hold for someone who isn't going to show up? You would cut off other people for less. Okay? And if this person's not talking to you, or they're having a difficult time coming into this emotional stability, why then are you putting your whole life on hold for this person who's just not ready to face themselves, let alone come forward and face you? And we see that there is transformation here, but the longer that you wait for them, the more it puts them in this place of feeling that energy, and they're going to hold back. This journey, this twin flame journey, if you're truly on a twin flame journey, it is not about the connection. It is about what the connection represents. That's finding divine, unconditional love for self. Because the person that you love unconditionally outside of you, that you have been led to seeing as your twin flame, you have to find that same love for yourself in all aspects of your life. And if you're not willing to do that, and you're thinking, oh, it only comes with the manifestation of this connection, you're missing a valuable point to the journey, and that's to finding that deep, unconditional love for yourself, and knowing that you don't have to put your life on hold just because this person is said twin flame. It's not about that. And we need to get out of this belief that that's all it's about. It's so much more than that. It's about coming into one with divine and divine self. And that is where the powerhouse energy comes from. Yeah, there's this fear, this anxiety that's tied to that emotional stability. What if I'm by myself this whole time? And I feel like these cards from the stars for you, this is a message for you. What if I never manifest my twin flame in the physical? What happens when that happens? Like, did I do something wrong? And that's the problem with us focusing solely on the relationship, is that when it doesn't come to pass, like so many other people have said it should, we immediately begin to blame and chastise and judge and beat ourselves up, which is exactly the trigger we need to show ourselves that we are not unconditionally loving ourselves and accepting ourselves where we're at in the journey. And so right now there's this feeling of isolation, and it's like, why do I feel alone on the journey? And it's not that you feel alone on the journey. We just have to remember that not everyone has our highest good in mind, especially when it comes to these very popular beliefs that are beginning to grow and grow and grow. There are some people out there that will make you believe anything just so that they can get $1 from you, so that they can get you as a follower, so that they can do this, and they won't tell you the truth. And the truth of this actual connection is so much deeper than everyone's putting it. What we romanticize, it's not that. Okay, it's not that you won't have that with them, but it's about stepping outside of that and seeing the whole picture. And right now they're pointing out, the stars are pointing out here, that you're seeing it very closed off from a very small perspective, and being stuck in emotionally unfulfilling situation, and not being able to talk to anybody, because everyone you talk to, it's like, or everyone you go and seek, they're saying, oh, it's your fault, you're not doing the right thing. But if you're showing up and you're giving yourself self-love, you're facing your fears, you're working through the problems, you're healing yourself, you're dealing with the shadow self, why is that your problem that this is not coming together? And why instead are we not focusing on, it's like I'm growing closer to myself each and every day, and that's what matters. It's not this other person. Yes, I know the connection is strong. Yes, I know the connection is deep. And I understand that. I do. But the more we focus on that person, the less we focus on ourselves. And that is the exact reason why we were awakened to the connection in the first place. Because we're putting everyone else on a pedestal and we're not dealing through our own problems or our own triggers. And we're just saying, oh, it's their fault. It's their fault. Or we're blaming ourselves. And that's the message here. Yeah, and we have the Knight of Cups on the bottom of the deck. It's like we're hoping that they're going to come forward and give this love to us, but we're not setting even a boundary with ourselves. And sometimes that's the place that we have to start, is setting a boundary within ourselves. So let's get some angel cards, romance angels on it, and see what comes out. And I love this. We have Scorpio energy, very highly aspect in this reading today. But let's see what else comes out. Message from the stars. What more would you like to tell my fellow humans here? Look, exactly. Yes, this is your soulmate. That's what you're so worried about. It's like, well, you're telling me, oh, it's not about the physical connection. It's not about the physical romance. Look, we're not denying that this is a very, very deep connection. That's not what we're denying. We're just trying to help you focus on something that's going to get you more aligned with your journey, which is you. There's a lot of chemistry here. There's a strong magnetic attraction here. Exactly. So they do have feelings for you, even if they haven't voiced them. Right now, they're dealing with their own internal crap that they got going on. And we have to give them space for that. But we don't have to put our lives on hold because of that. It doesn't mean that we can't let them come in when they come in and go to them. But if we're constantly putting our own lives on hold and putting our happiness all in their basket, we're doing ourselves a disservice. And the whole purpose of this journey is to come into going towards what we desire, which, if that's love, go towards love. It doesn't have to be waiting on your twin flame. And that seems so contradictory, right? But it's saying, you know what? There's people you can date. You don't have to get into a deep connection and a marriage right now. But if you're putting love on hold because it has to be your twin flame, you're also not dating. You're not getting used to putting yourself out there. You're not getting used to the idea of going out and building a connection with someone before it turns into a romance, right? And so that's the purpose, is to put yourself out there and to build that connection before it turns into a romance. But if you're not building that when your twin flame comes in, are you really expecting your twin to just propose to you the minute they walk into your life? Oh, you know what? You've been in my life for a week and now we have to sleep with each other. You're missing out on vital practice that will be useful in setting solid boundaries with your twin flame. Pay attention to the red flags. The signs are cautioning you, and that's exactly the feeling I was getting. Like, if you want it so bad, that's fine. But if you're putting all your eggs in one basket, that's a red flag, right? Nowhere in the universe does it say to do that, right? They're not saying, "I'll put all your eggs in this one basket." If the plan doesn't work, you change the plan, not the goal. The goal ultimately is the most aligned version of love for you. Well, if this plan isn't working, the goal doesn't change. It's not the person, it's the idea of love, right? So remember, the goal doesn't change. It's, I want my highest, most aligned version of love. That's what I'm asking for. But the plan to get this person is not working. So I have to scrap this plan and do something different, right? But it's not about putting all your eggs in this person's basket. It's about putting all your eggs in this basket of, I want the highest, most aligned version of love. And that's what we need to focus on instead of the person. Because this person, it's not that they're not meant for you. It's just that right now they're not in a space to bring that forward for you. And we have codependency, exactly. Addictions are affecting your romantic life here. So they're being very clear about this here. There's a lot going on with this person. They're just not ready to bring that forward. So let's see what we've got here. We have Libra, consideration, fairness, and harmony. We have House 2, physical securities, possessions, material values, and self-worth. right? Here's the thing, when you put all your hopes and dreams on one person that never comes forward, your self-worth, your confidence, and how you feel about yourself are greatly impacted, because you're basically saying, well, this person doesn't want me, so why would anyone else want me? And you're not seeing it that way, because you're like, no, but that's my twin. They have to want me. And it's not that they don't. It's just that you're not seeing it from another perspective. And they're saying to open your eyes here, open your perspective, come into a place of bringing security for yourself, building yourself up, but really focusing on your self-worth. That's why dating is so imperative, especially in the twin flame journey. It's not that we're dating for necessarily a romantic relationship. We're dating for experience and for helping ourselves set boundaries when red flags arise, right? Because that's ultimately, the twin flame journey is all about standing in our strength as a soul in unconditional love, meaning loving everyone no matter how they show up. But to love everyone no matter how they show up means that we have to be diligent in setting strong personal boundaries. And we have earth energy with Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, persistence, patience, and practicality. And what's really standing out here is practicality. Okay? And I love that Libra started this, and I wanted to get back to this, but it's like finding the balance again. If you're putting everything on this person, and you're putting everything that it's this, it has to be this person, and then you're putting everything on yourself to figure out how to heal the bridge. It's only one way, right? Regardless of how energy, they're saying it works within the twin flame energy, think about this in a logical sense, being practical about this for just a second. I'm not saying that this connection makes sense, because of all things, I know myself, it does not. But sometimes we have to take ourselves out of that and say, okay, if it's all on me, the divine feminine, to do all the healing so that the masculine can come forward. But if you're a divine feminine that's been in a people-pleasing state, then tell me, how is that different? And I just heard someone say, well, it just is. I'm sorry, but my whole life, it just is not a valid answer. It's not. It's not a valid answer, because it's saying I don't know how to dig deeper into that to give you a valid answer. But let's just break that down for just a second and say, okay, you've been in a people pleaser state your whole life, which means that you've done everything to heal all relationships. You've taken on the burden of doing all the work and never expected anything from anyone else except to show up and love you. Man, that really does sound like the twin flame journey, doesn't it? The divine feminine has to put in all the work, do all the healing, and then the divine masculine will just randomly one day show up and love the divine feminine. Just sit with that for just a second. Is that really fair? Or is that comfortable? Really? Is that comfortable? That's North Node energy, especially if you come from being a people pleaser. Again, I'm not here telling you that this connection will not exist. That's not what I'm doing. What I'm trying to do, and what the stars are trying to bring us into alignment with, is understanding that the main thing in this reading is your self-worth. But if you're doing all the work and nothing is happening based on you doing all the work, then you're taking a toll on your self-worth, your confidence, your value. You're saying, well, obviously I'm not doing exactly what I need to be doing, otherwise they would have come by now. So the focus is on this love. The focus is on this person coming in and offering you love based on you doing all the work and healing. How is that not different than being a people pleaser? It's taking you away from the main goal of this relationship, which is to come into divine love for self, okay? To come into alignment with source energy, to be the embodiment of divine love and light and unconditional love for others, not for this relationship. It's so much more than what so many people are painting the picture. And sometimes that's very difficult for us to accept, because as humans, we've been told our whole life that the woman is just supposed to sit back and let the man come in and love her while she does everything for him. It's a stereotype that continues to play out and evolve in new different ways. It's not that the twin flame journey doesn't exist. It very much does, but we're trying to draw away from this romanticized version of it and come into a more aligned version with the spiritual journey. The spiritual journey, the love is always there. It has never left. Just because they're not there in the 3D does not mean that they're not with you. And I know you hear that a lot. But when you come into union within the 5D, it's like a sudden understanding comes through and you're like, wow, we really are in this together. And if we're not in this together in this lifetime, then I'm going to work on myself and become my highest version so that way we can be in this together for the next lifetime. But it's not about them. It's about you choosing to connect with your higher self. You choosing to connect with the divine. You choosing to do these things that bring you into an aligned state of unconditional love, not for the sake of a romance, but for the sake of love itself. Okay? So this is the message from the stars. I was going to read these from the books, but the answer that came through was very clear. This message was very clear. So if you felt like this was your message, leave a little heart emoji down below. I'll let you choose whichever one and say, I choose to heal myself for the sake of myself, not for the sake of romance, because I feel like that just needs to be implemented and reminded to us daily. And if you feel like this is your reading, definitely feel free to leave me a thumbs up. For those of you that choose to share your story, just know I'm honored to be an outlet where you can choose to share those stories. And make sure you do subscribe. If you're interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find all those links in the description box. In order to do so, you can email me for a personal reading. You can follow me on over to my podcast on Spotify at Scatter Love Radio. You can even join as a member. And I would love to see you on memberships. But if not, thank you so much for your continued support here. I do want to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, my spirit guides, and also the stars for coming together to give us this message. And until next time, stay human. Bye.